I grew up in a quiet town surrounded by evergreen forests. Nothing special ever happened there. The kind of place where people left their doors unlocked and kids still rode their bikes until sunset. But there was one part of town no one talked about casually. Not because it was dangerous, but because everyone who lived there knew something wasn't right. That place was Black Fern Woods, a dense, sprawling stretch of forest behind the northern houses. People went hiking there during the day, but no one, and I mean no one, stepped inside after dark. I used to think it was just small-town superstition, until the night I learned why. It happened 4 years ago when I was 20. I had just moved back home after college. My parents were out of town and I was alone in the house for the weekend. The first night went by normally, but the second night, that's when everything changed. It was around 1 a.m. I was in my room watching videos on my laptop when I heard something strange coming from outside. At first, I thought it was a dog barking or some animal noises. But after I muted the video, I heard it clearly. Children laughing. Not the friendly, playful kind of laughter you'd hear at a park. This sounded wrong. Too high-pitched, almost like it was being forced. The kind of laugh a child makes when they're scared, not happy. I froze. My house bordered the woods. Our backyard stretched all the way to the first line of trees. And that laughter? It was coming from deep inside Black Fern Woods. I went closer to the window, lifting the curtain slightly. The backyard was dark, the only light coming from the moon filtering through the tree branches. Everything was still, but the laughter continued. It echoed among the trees, overlapping, like multiple children giggling together. I remember whispering to myself, what the hell? My first instinct was to assume some neighborhood kids were messing around, maybe sneaking out at night. But no one ever went into the woods, especially not at 1 a.m. still. I kept telling myself it had to be kids. But then something happened that made my stomach drop. The laughter suddenly stopped, cut off mid-giggle. Then, seconds later, a single voice, a child's voice, spoke out clearly. "We see you." I stumbled back from the window. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. There was no way I had heard that correctly. I held my breath, waiting, praying it was just my imagination. Then I heard it again. This time, multiple children whispered it in unison, "We see you." I didn't sleep at all that night. The next morning, I tried brushing it off as a dream. Maybe I'd fallen asleep for a few minutes without realizing. Maybe it was some sound online that overlapped with my headphones. I came up with every excuse possible. But that evening, around 11 p.m., I stepped outside to get something from my car, and I found something lying in the middle of the backyard. A small, dirty stuffed bear. It looked old, almost rotted. One eye was missing, and patches of fur were torn off. I had never seen it before. It definitely wasn't mine. My family didn't have pets or small children around. I approached it carefully. As I bent down to look at it, I noticed something that made my skin crawl. Tiny muddy footprints, child-sized footprints, leading from the forest edge straight to the toy, and then leading back into the trees. My backyard had no fence, nothing to stop anyone from walking in. But these footprints weren't normal. The toes were long, almost pointed. The arch was too narrow, and the spacing between steps, the stride was wrong, too long for a child. I immediately felt that same uncomfortable sensation in my stomach, that instinctive warning that you're not safe. I quickly grabbed the toy with the stick, tossed it into a trash bag, and brought it inside. I planned to throw it out later, but I shouldn't have brought it into the house. That was the second mistake. That night, everything escalated. It was around 2 a.m. when I woke up to a sound coming from downstairs. At first, it was faint, like something brushing against the walls. Then I heard what sounded like small footsteps scurrying quickly across the wooden floor. My heart jumped. I grabbed my phone and listened again. Footsteps, light, rapid, erratic, like multiple little kids running around. Then I heard giggling. Not outside, not in the woods, inside my house. I froze in bed. The laughter echoed through the hallway, growing louder, like they were running around the living room. Then one voice whispered, "Where did you go?" My blood turned to ice. I slowly sat up, trying not to make any sound. Every instinct told me not to open my bedroom door, not even to move. But my bedroom door was slightly open, just enough that I could see the hallway, and that's when I saw it. A small shadow ran across the hallway, fast, too fast. It moved on all fours, but its limbs were bent at weird angles. I covered my mouth to stop myself from screaming. Then another one peeked from behind the wall, just its head. Small, but wrong. The proportions were off. The eyes were too big, reflective like an animal's. The mouth hung open too wide for a child. It tilted its head slowly, like it was listening for something. And then, with a disturbingly cheerful tone, it whispered, "Found you." I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't do anything. Suddenly, the creature darted away on all fours, disappearing down the stairs. I grabbed my phone and called 999, the Malaysian emergency line. Because I was panicking so badly, I didn't know what else to do. The operator answered, asking what my emergency was. I tried speaking, but every word came out shaky. I told her someone was inside my house, multiple intruders, possibly children, but deformed or sick or something. As I spoke, I heard them coming up the stairs. Dozens of small, rapid footfalls, giggling, whispers overlapping, getting louder and louder. "He's here. Play with us. We see you." I grabbed a heavy flashlight from my drawer, jumped out of bed, slammed the bedroom door shut, and locked it. The operator told me the police were on the way. I backed away from the door, and then the knocking started. Not one knock, not even two, but a rapid, frantic pounding like tiny fists slamming on wood. Dozens of them. I screamed. The operator kept telling me to stay calm, but I couldn't even hear her properly anymore because the whispers on the other side of the door were getting louder. One voice, right at the bottom of the door, whispered, "We're under here." I dropped the phone. I stood frozen, staring at the gap under the door, and then a small, pale hand slid underneath. The fingers were long and thin, bending unnaturally as it tried to reach further inside. I stumbled backward, tripped over my chair, and fell hard. Then suddenly, silence. All the knocking stopped at once. The whispers vanished. The footsteps faded away. For 10 whole seconds, the entire house went dead silent. Then I heard my front door burst open downstairs. The cops, 2 officers, rushed inside, shouting, asking if anyone was there. They checked every room, every closet, every corner, but they didn't find anything. No footprints, no broken windows, no signs of forced entry. And the worst part, the stuffed bear I brought inside earlier was gone. One of the officers tried calming me down, saying I might have been half asleep, dreaming or imagining things, but I wasn't. I knew what I saw. Before leaving, one of the officers told me something strange. He said, "You live near Blackfern Woods, right? People hear weird things there sometimes, laughing at night, echoes. Could be animals, could be wind. But just stay inside after dark, okay?" The way he said it made me think he knew more than he wanted to explain. After they left, I didn't sleep at all. The sun couldn't rise fast enough. The next morning, I went outside again, and my heart dropped when I saw it. Lined up perfectly along the edge of the forest were 3 more old, rotting stuffed toys, a rabbit, a doll, and a small wooden horse, each of them placed neatly like a gift. But next to them were footprints, dozens of them, tiny, childlike, but bent, twisted, not human, and each footprint pointed toward my house. I decided to do something incredibly stupid. I walked toward the woods. I just wanted to see if anything at all, looked unusual. I stopped about 10 feet inside the tree line. The forest was dead silent. No birds, no insects, just quiet. Then I saw something hanging from a branch ahead, a child's handprint, painted in dark red, smudged, dripping down the bark. I froze in place, and from deeper in the woods, I heard laughter, but this time it wasn't giggling. It was full, hysterical, manic laughter, echoing in all directions, like dozens of children screaming with joy. I turned and ran. I didn't stop until I reached my house. I packed a bag and left that day. I moved to another part of the country and never went back. But here's the part that still haunts me. 2 months after I moved, my parents called to tell me someone left something on our old doorstep, a small box. Inside it was the same stuffed bear I threw away, the one that disappeared from inside my house. Except now its remaining eye was missing too, and tucked beneath it was a piece of paper. On it, written in uneven, childlike handwriting, were the words, "We still see you." Now I live far from any forest, far from anything that even looks like black fern woods. But some nights, when I'm lying in bed with everything silent, I swear I can hear it again. That same faint giggling, coming from somewhere outside my window. Sometimes it gets closer. Sometimes it feels like it's right outside my door. And sometimes I hear it inside my house. If you ever walk past a forest at night and hear children laughing deep within the trees, don't look, don't listen, don't follow it, because whatever is laughing in there isn't a child. And once they know you've heard them, they never stop watching.